Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for.
Quiet. Shh. Shh.
So I just saw Birds of Prey, and I have an opinion. Let's get the bad out of the way first. Some of the characters, and by some, I mean most, are very different from their comic book counterparts. It didn't bother me very much, but I can see how that would bother fans who love these characters more than I do. I also thought that a couple of the sets did not look like real places that have ever been lived in, particularly the booby trap set with the trampolines. It just did not seem believable that this clean and functional jumpy house would exist inside of this abandoned theme park. I think what makes it stand out to me is that some of the sets were really good, like Harley Quinn's apartment looked very detailed and lived in, and it just made the booby trap set look cheap. Also, some of the action suffered from stuntmen waiting around for their fellow stuntmen to get knocked out by the main characters before they themselves jumped in to take a crack at them. It was noticeable here and there, but not any more than any other action movie with hand-to-hand combat. Put your favorite kung fu movie in, and the same thing happens there too. Just saying, it's noticeable and that bothers some people. Throughout the movie, there are a lot of unbelievable and fantastical elements that will turn some people off. A hyena that just patiently sits in a bathtub of a tiny one-room apartment is not out of place in a comic book or a cartoon, but it is in a live-action movie. Something like that just would never happen in real life. There is also another instance of a superpower just coming out of nowhere that is really out of place and I think unnecessary. I kind of like when Gotham doesn't have all these meta-humans or superpowered humans. I just don't like superpowers in my Batman universe. But that's just my thing.
What?
You are so cool.
First of all, the movie looks great. The costume design for Harley Quinn looks good in every scene, and so did the supporting characters. Again, judging from the trailers, I thought I'd hate their looks, but seeing it on the big screen combined with their personalities, it really worked for me, especially Harley Quinn, Black Mask, and Huntress. The cinematography was also really, really good, and might be one of the best parts of the movie. There was a scene of a breakfast sandwich being made that was shot with such fetishistic detail that I've never seen before on the big screen for, like, a sandwich. It was kind of breathtaking. You'll just have to see it for yourself. Margot Robbie was 10 times better as Harley Quinn in this movie than she was in Suicide Squad. You can tell she cares about the character, she is acting her ass off, with a role that is really hard to pull off. Harley Quinn's accent is not easy to sell on the big screen. It's very cartoony, it's very unnatural, and I think she does the best that I think any actress could do with it. And she's also made her into an asshole and a villain, like she should be. She kills, she steals, she lies, she hurts innocent people, and she has a good time while she does it. And I like that. I was fully prepared to hate the rest of the characters, but I loved every minute that Black Mask and Zsasz were on screen. They were really fucking evil and menacing. I mentioned already that the actual Birds of Prey are a far cry from their comic book counterparts, but I also really enjoyed when they were on screen. All the actors took their role seriously, and I actually cared about the characters. The actual story is, well, a comic book story. This movie really does feel like a comic book more than a movie. Right down to goofy-ass henchmen in clown pants with no shirts on and wearing masks. They're almost Tim Burton-esque. On the big screen it's goofy, but you really wouldn't question it in a comic book. So don't expect to have your mind blown by a really clever twist ending or engage in any intellectual conversations about what this movie really means. But I think that's a good thing because this is a Harley Quinn movie. This is a type of silliness she should be surrounded by. She seems out of place in Suicide Squad and the DC Universe movies in general, but not here. This is the type of movie she should be in. She shouldn't be trying to save the world. She shouldn't be fighting superpowered human beings. She should be in a movie like this.
Yeah. Are we ready?
You blow up fuse.
Before I wrap this up, I want to mention that the humor also landed with me most of the time. I had plenty of genuine laughs throughout, and they were also not scared to go super dark with the humor. and I mean really dark. They went farther with the R rating than I expected them to. You could almost call this movie a hard R. There are some very violent scenes, and just a lot of very inappropriate situations. Overall, I would recommend this movie if you lean slightly nerdy and are going in with the knowledge that this is going to be something colorful, fun, campy, violent, exhilarating at times, but ultimately pretty mindless.